Hang on, kids. I'm here. Are you all right? We need to get you warm, quickly. Come on, let's get you to the car.
The storm was already swallowing the road when the billionaire slammed the brakes, his breath caught between disbelief and fear. Ahead of him, half buried in white, were three children clinging to one another as if warmth itself were running out. The oldest girl stood in front, thin arms spread wide, trying to shield the smaller two from the wind that cut like knives. Her lips were blue, her eyes were steady. She did not beg. She did not cry. She only waited as if she already knew how this would end. The man in the car was known to the world for power, deals, and numbers so large they no longer felt real. His face had filled magazines. His name opened doors. Yet in that frozen moment, none of it mattered. All that existed was the sound of the wind, the weight of the snow, and three lives fading in front of him. He stepped out into the blizzard, the cold punching through his coat. People later said it was fate. Others said it was luck. But the truth was simpler. He was there, and they were dying. The oldest girl watched him approach. She did not step back. Her feet were bare inside torn shoes. Her hair was stiff with ice. Behind her, the younger ones leaned into her spine, trusting her like a wall against the world. The man felt something crack inside his chest. He had signed papers that morning worth more than most people would earn in a lifetime. None of those papers had ever made him feel this small. He knelt, sinking into the snow, trying to speak gently. His voice felt useless against the storm. He reached out, then stopped, afraid he might frighten them. The girl studied his face with a calm that did not belong to a child. She looked like someone much older, someone who had already learned what hunger does to hope. She finally spoke. Her voice thin but clear, carried by effort rather than strength. She said they were not asking for much, just a little food, just enough so the little ones could sleep. Those words cut deeper than any accusation ever had. Long before this storm, long before this road, the billionaire had been someone else. He had grown up far from glass towers and warm cars. As a boy, he had known empty cupboards and long winters. He had known the shame of watching his mother water down soup so it would last one more night. He had promised himself that if he ever escaped that life, he would never look back. And for years he had not. Success had come fast and loud. Cities blurred together. Homes became places he slept, not lived. His past faded into a story he told only when it served a point. The hunger he once knew became an idea, not a memory. Until now, as he wrapped his coat around the youngest child, his hands trembled. He felt their ribs through thin fabric. He smelled cold skin and damp cloth. The storm howled around them, uncaring. He lifted the smallest one, then the next, guiding them toward the car. The oldest girl followed, swaying but still standing. Inside the car, heat blasted their frozen limbs. The children huddled together, eyes wide, unsure if this warmth was real. The billionaire handed them food from an emergency kit he had never expected to use. They ate slowly, carefully, like children who knew food could vanish again. The oldest girl did not eat right away. She watched the others first, counting every bite with her eyes. Only when they were calmer did she take a small piece for herself. That restraint broke him more than the cold. Ever could, he asked where their parents were. The girl looked down, then back up. The answer came quietly. Gone. The word carried weight without explanation. He did not ask more. He did not need to. As the car pushed through the storm towards safety, the man felt a shift inside him. This was not charity. This was not a headline. This was a debt coming due. At the nearest town, he brought them into a warm building, called for help, stayed until doctors said they would live. He sat in a hard chair, snow melting into the floor beneath his boots, watching the girl fight sleep. She stayed awake until she was sure the others were safe. Only then did she let her eyes close. Before she slept. She reached for his hand. Her fingers were weak but certain. She told him something he would carry forever. She said, "Thank you for stopping." Most people did not. The words hit him harder than any insult ever had, in the days that followed. The story could have ended quietly. He could have funded care, signed checks, moved on. That was what people expected from men like him, quiet solutions. clean endings. But the storm had stripped something raw inside him. He learned more about the children, how they had walked miles in the snow after their home lost heat, how the oldest had rationed food for days, how she had decided that if they were going to freeze, they would freeze together in the open where someone might see them. That choice haunted him. He visited them every day. He listened more than he spoke. The girl grew stronger. She asked fewer questions about the future than any child should. She carried responsibility like a second spine. One evening, as snow fell, softly outside the window, she asked him a simple thing. She asked him why he stopped. The answer came slowly, painfully honest. He told her that once, a long time ago, he had been hungry too, that he had been saved by someone who did not look away, that he had forgotten what that meant until now. She nodded, as if confirming something she already knew. Days later, when her health suddenly failed from damage the cold had already done, he was there. Machines hummed quietly. The room smelled of clean sheets and antiseptic. The world felt very small. She was awake only briefly. Her eyes found his. She did not cry. She did not complain. She said something so simple it broke him open. She said, "Please remember us when it is easier to forget." Those were her final words. She slipped away with a calm that left the room hollow. The billionaire did not leave that hospital the same man. He stood at the window long after dawn, watching light touch the snow. He realized that wealth had given him comfort, not meaning. Meaning had just been handed to him by a starving child in a storm. What followed surprised everyone. He shut down meetings, walked away from deals. He redirected entire divisions of his company. Shelters were built, heating programs funded, food routes expanded into forgotten places, not with speeches, not with his name carved into stone. Quietly, relentlessly. When asked why, he gave an answer that spread far beyond boardrooms. He said that silence does not mean no one is suffering. It often means they are used to it. At the first shelter opening, he stood in the back. No cameras. No applause. People recognized him anyway. They stood, not because they were told to, but because they felt something rare. Respect earned without demand. The youngest child from the blizzard stood beside him, healthy now, holding a small coat too big for her. She squeezed his hand. He squeezed back. The storm that night had passed, but its lesson remained. Somewhere in places no one films, children still wait in the cold. Heroes still arrive without capes. And sometimes the strongest power in the world is simply stopping when everyone else keeps driving. If this story moved you, share where you are watching from. Share what you felt. And subscribe for more stories that honor quiet courage, unseen battles, and the strength found in compassion.